get some information real quick, because I mentioned about the Amalekites. In fact, yo, Salakia, let me run over to the other side, because we made a statement at camp about you gonna get Israelites that are among them so-called Jews, because what they call modern Jewry today is made up of mainly what they call Ashkenazi Jews, which they're called Ashkenaz because they migrated into Europe and settled in the area known as Ashkenaz in the ancient Bible. It's not because they're actually from Ashkenaz. You get some morons out there saying that they're Japhet. No, they migrated into that region which is known as Ashkenaz. That's why they call themselves Ashkenaz Jews, but they're neither Ashkenaz or Jews to the most part. Those people came out the Khazarian Empire. Now, I got this book here. Let me just make sure that you can see it. It's called Lost Tribes, or The Origins of American Racism, Lost Tribes and Promised Lands by Ronald Sanders, okay? And there was an Israelite, but he was a Muslim. Because you gotta understand, when you go back into the Dark Ages, Israel was all messed up. You had Israel who were claiming to be Muslims, Israel that were claiming to be Christians. You had Israel still that were claiming to be Jews, which is going to play an important part in the information I'm going to bring out. Because during the Dark Ages, that's why sometimes it's difficult to tell when it's talking about so-called Jews or real Jews. Because during that time period, there were two types of Jews on the earth. You had the false Jews and you had the real Jews. Okay, just like in Spain, you had a lot of real Jews, which they call that the Sephardic. But the people who are calling them Sephardic Jews today, they don't all go back to Spanish Jews, and because basically what happened when them Khazari and Ashkenazis came into Europe, they started intermingling with them Sephardics, man, and they don't keep their bloodlines according to the father. So a lot of them Sephardic Jews are now really Edomites, and vice versa. But I want to get this information here. This is about a Jew that was in Spain, which he would have had to have been an Israelite, and he's referencing about the Khazarian. Just bear with me. The Khazarians, man. So this is from page 23. Let's just check the stream is still. Anyway, Apostle Gabar, you know, ISUPK, they got that bad man Benjamite spirit on them, man. Them niggas is a bunch of bounty killers, man. Bad man, full suit of black. Me have my tall gun, and me shot you down. That's their spirit, man. That's what they're on, man. They're crazy. They're just a bunch of aggressive buffoons. They want to be tough. We're gonna find out how tough they are, though, because the Lord ain't with them. Alright, so let me oh man, I lost it again. This is crazy. Where was it? Yep, is that it? Salakia, man, I just got a lot of Satan. Come on. There we go. Alright, so page 23. I'm going to read real quick, okay? Now it says, during the reign of Abderrahman III. So this is when you had Moors ruling in Spain. Word reached the court of Cordova about the existence of a nomadic people of the Central Asian steppes called the Khazars, whose king and upper class had been converted to Judaism some 200 years before under circumstances that remain obscure. See, them so-called Jews were always the elites of you so-called white people, and they still are to this very day. Okay, they're Amalek, man. They're your head tribe, okay? Just like Judah is the head tribe of Israel. Alright? It says here, the Caliph's first minister, Hasdai ibn Shuprut, a Jew. So the Caliph was actually a Jew too, but he was a Jew that was known as a Moor, that was following Islam, and he had a Jew, meaning an Israelite, who was still going by the way of being Jewish, in terms of he was only going by the Tanakh and the Torah. He didn't believe in the gospel, you know, which he should have. He didn't believe in the gospel, and he didn't believe in the falsehood of Islam, which was right. He shouldn't have been believe that anyway. Responded to the news by writing an excited letter to the Khazar king. Since the first reports on the Jewish Khazars had not mentioned the fact that they were converts, so when he first heard about these Khazars, he thought they were actual Jews, descendants of Israel, and he got excited. Okay, which the reason why he got excited is, like I said, Israel was so disjointed that really to be an Israelite that was still, you know, being a Jew in that time, it weren't good for you, because the Christians didn't like you, which the Christians were Jews. They claimed they followed the gospel, but by that time the gospel had been perverted. But they, you know, were walking around with the New Testament in their pockets. And then you had the Israelites that believed in Islam. So the Jews were kind of like, you know, they didn't have their own, because the Christians had their kingdom, so to speak. The Muslims had their kingdom, but there was no actual Jewish kingdom. That went down with 70 AD. You know, which a lot of Jews fled into West Africa, because down there a lot of them were still, you know, Jewishish, so to speak. I mean, you know, just so you can, you know, I don't like to use that word Jewish, but you know, since the first reports on the Jewish Khazars had not mentioned the fact that they were converts, Hasdai thought that they might be descended from the lost tribes. In writing of the complex diplomatic measures he planned to take in order to get his letter conveyed across the world, he explained that he was doing all this in order to know the truth. Okay, which proves he's a real Israelite, because he really wanted to find his people. Now, these so-called Jews that claim to be Israelites, they got all this money. They should be putting all that money into finding the lost tribes. The reason they're not doing that is because, to the most part, they're not the real Israelites. Okay. It says, to know the truth whether the Israelitish exiles anywhere form one independent kingdom and are not subject to any foreign ruler. Right, because the Moors, they were subject unto the Caliphate, which was them Ishmaelites and them Ottoman Turks. The Christians, well, they were subject unto the Pope and Catholicism. So he was trying to find somewhere where they could just be Jews, you know what I'm saying? Alright, it says, if indeed I could learn that this was the case, then despising all my glory, abandoning my high estate, leaving my family, I would go over mountains and hills, through seas and lands, till I should arrive at the place where my lord the Khazar or king resides, that might see not only his glory and his magnificence and that of his servants and ministers, but also the tranquility of the Israelites. And that's Jake, man. We just trying to chill. Tranquility means peace, which we gonna get that in the kingdom. We gonna get peace, Shiloh, in the kingdom. Shiloh will come with Yahweh Shai, who is Shiloh. He is peace unto us. On beholding, showing this guy didn't know the scriptures. On beholding this, my eyes would brighten, my reins would exalt, my lips would pour forth praises to God, who has not withdrawn his favor from his afflicted ones. Hasdai later learned the truth about the origin of the Jewish Khazars, but they continued to be a source of excitement among Spanish Jews right down to the time of Judah HaLevi, whose great Arabic prose work Al-Khazuri was inspired by them. This common longing for the East in both Muslim and Christian Spain is another example of the Andalusian cultural symphony, blah blah blah. So the point is, man, that our people who were still calling themselves Jews were very excited by these gutter rats. And I'm going to show you that some of our people fleeing from Islam and so forth actually went up among them Khazarians. That's how they learned a lot what they learned about our scriptures and so forth. They learned it from actually our people. They fled up and started intermingling among them. And I'm going to show you that. So that's why among those Khazarians, you're going to have some Israelites. Thus the scriptures are fulfilled. Israel is swallowed up among the heathen. Now this is let me show it on the comment board, on the video I should say. Oh, okay, let me just adjust this. This is the book, The 13th Tribe by Arthur Koestler. Okay, now it says here on the chapter 54, right here, it's in the book. You know, you could get this book, it's not that expensive. It's a good reference book to have. Okay, let me just read this chapter just to show you the point. All right, it says, in this city, Khazarian Itil, are Muslims, Christians, Jews, and pagans. The Jews are the king, his attendants, and the Khazars of his kind. The king of the Khazars had already become a Jew in the caliphate of Harun al-Rashid, and he was joined by Jews from all lands of Islam and from the country of the Greeks, meaning Byzantium. So you had certain of our people that fled Byzantium and fled Islam and went up there with them damn Khazars, man. The devil. Okay. Indeed, the king of the Greeks at the present time, the year of Hegira 332, has converted the Jews in his kingdom to Christianity by coercion. Thus, many Jews took flight from the country of the Greeks to Khazaria. So they fled up there with them gutter rats, because them gutter rats claiming to be Jews. Okay, so basically, based upon that, you're gonna have actual rats. you know, we call them rats, but among them, you're gonna have Israelites scattered among them. If they're of the elect to receive this gospel, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. Thus the scriptures are fulfilled, man. The Lord is going to sift the house of Israel, man, from among the nations, man. Okay, and like I said, even among them, they also intermingled with the Spanish Jews too when they went over there to Spain and so forth, man. You know, so that has to be brought out as well, that some of them guys that are calling them so-called Jews actually are Jews. We cannot be, the scripture says, be not ignorant, man. We're supposed to be, ignorant is negative, it's blackness. We're not supposed to be black. We're supposed to be people of light, to be enlightened. We can't be ignorant. We have to understand, look, man, okay, we got to take a step back sometime, calm down the emotion. Look, man, try the spirit, man, because it is what it is, man. You might not necessarily like it, because I don't like to look at them gutter rats just like any other. Whenever I know you brothers that live in New York, because when I went to New York, I went through that area, I believe it's in Harlem or something. These rats everywhere, man. And it reminded me of over here in the UK, there's a place called Golders Green, man. And I remember the first time I went through Golders Green, because I'm not from North London, I'm from the east. I'm from the east side. I'm from East London, and you know, when I was growing up, man, you really, roll through certain ends like that. But you had the first time I went up through Golders Green, I was in the truth, man, and that shit vexated me just looking at them damn devils, man. I saw a group of them devils up against a fence, head nodding and all that. But at the end of the day, some of them are Jake, man. Just like we like to bring out the Irish, some of the English are Jakes, man. A lot of them Englishmen that were working on them docks, they were niggas, man. Them niggas are they're still poor, and a lot of them are East Enders, like the apostles bringing out. East Enders Cockney, like my man Lenny McLean, man, the governor, he was a Jake, man. You could watch his documentary on Netflix, man. That was a Jake, man. That dude was cursed, man, but he was a mighty man. You know, even in Germany, among them Germans, you're gonna have Israelites among all these different nations. You got Israel scattered among them, man.